You know, it's crazy to think that it's been almost 7 years since my accident. Because I can still remember just like it was yesterday, that when I stayed up all night waiting for the paper to come to maybe know something else of what was happening. And that mailman came and delivered the paper, and I opened up and I read the headlines, and it said, "Crash, victim dies." And my whole world just stood still, and fear just flooded me, and not wanting to believe what I was reading. How could I at 23 years old be responsible from taking the life of somebody because I chose to drink and drive? But then to find out a few days later that her family just wanted to forgive me with no strings attached, I didn't want to believe that either, because why would they? But when I got off the phone and I hung up, and those words from their family were still ringing in my ears of, "Nathan, we don't know you, but we forgive you, and we don't want your life to be destroyed. Just don't let Priscilla die for nothing, and go out and try to make the world a better place." It didn't make sense. You know, I knew about God and who Jesus was, and the words of like grace and mercy and forgiveness. Those are all like head knowledges to me up to that point. But after that conversation, everything just changed. Because God's grace and mercy and forgiveness and who Jesus says He is, it became so real to me. There was no denying it anymore. And God just changed me. At that moment when that phone call happened, He just put a fire in my chest of a passion just to want to tell anybody and everybody about this God, this Jesus, that can, regardless of your circumstances or what you're going through, or the choices you're making or have made, that as long as you're still breathing, that there is still hope in your heart to change, to be better, to live a more fulfilled life. And all those holes in our heart that we have, so many of us, that we try to fill it with all kinds of different things, from possessions or drugs or alcohol or relationships that never are satisfied. It's like a vacuum. That Jesus Christ is the solution. He is the answer to that. And when you grasp a hold of Him and the sacrifice that He died on the cross for you and me and for our sins, it changed everything, and it changed me. And that's really one of our passions with Burn for the King Ministries, is just to tell people, regardless how broken they are, there's hope for them. And the other leg of the ministry is, you know, when God's grace has wrecked my world, I begin to look at so many believers and followers of Jesus that seem to lost their spark, and they've just been going through the motions because of life and getting worn down. And my whole passion is to wake up those people, just to give them again that first love, that drive and that desire and determination to know Jesus, that we're the bride of Christ, and that Christ died for you and I specifically, and that is a big deal. To think that it's been 7 years is just crazy. And some of the opportunities that God's opened up and allowed us to do, if it's preaching to one person, one-on-one at a Bible study or on the street, or if it's praying for somebody in the store, or if it's at a venue, at a concert, at a church with 300, 500, 1,000, 10,000, it doesn't matter. Just to know that we're being able to preach Jesus is so humbling and just grateful, because I know how broken I used to be. And when that family 7 years ago forgave me and showed me some reckless love, some reckless abandonment to love me, it just changed me, and the power of grace became so much more real to me.